Soulji is an orphan girl. On her first day of school, she was bullied by her classmates. They blatantly spit out chewing gum and threw milk on her head. Soulji could only endure it and could not fight back. She then had to cut off her hair with the gum stuck on it in her anger and sadness. After school, she had to work part-time to make money to make ends meet. Because she had no identity, it was difficult for orphans like her to find a job. Soulji had to do a not-so-good job of selling illegal drugs. A senior at the orphanage named Byung-jin started giving out fake IDs to people like Soulji. Then they all went to the hospital to get prescriptions with fake identities. Then they went to the store to get the prescription drugs. From there, people could use it to sell to those in need. Although Byung-jin was the one who took advantage of his juniors to sell illegal drugs, he also cared about his people. Byung-jin asked about Soulji's studies and found out that she was only 15th in her class. He advised her to study hard so that she wouldn't have to live a life like his. He then gave her some medicine to improve her health. From that day on, Soulji started to pay more attention to her studies. Soulji knew that it wasn't an ordinary medicine. However, she couldn't stop taking it because of her ambition. She studied day and night. She studied anytime and anywhere, whenever she had free time. From being 15th in her class, Soulji suddenly rose to 15th in the school. Only then did Soulji realize the benefits of being a good student. The people who used to bully her were no longer there. Instead, everyone respected her more. That night, after Soulji finished her work, she informed Byung-jin that today would be her last day at work. She will move to Seoul to study. She has found her father. The next morning, Soulji took the bus to Seoul alone. From now on, she will enter a new school, a place only for people with money and status. People like Soulji are only a small number here. Some female students are picked up by supercars to go to school. This really overwhelmed Soulji. Then, Soulji went to the teacher's office to announce the transfer. The teacher wondered where her parents were to let her go alone like this. Soulji was already in 12th grade. Why did her parents force her to transfer? The teacher immediately showed Soulji her new classroom. At the same time, the teacher told Soulji to change into the school uniform the next day like her friends. When Soulji went outside, she asked the two female students about the 12th grade classroom. However, they both ignored her and did not show Soulji. While Soulji was wandering around looking for her classroom, she was attracted by the sound of a concert. There was an entrance ceremony taking place. At that time, an old lady came in to sell flowers but was chased out by the security guard. Seeing that, Jae stopped the security guard and approached her, offering to buy all the flowers from the old lady. Jae was a powerful female student in Chaguan school. At the same time, she was also the best student of the school for many years. While Soulji was watching Jae speak, the security guard chased her out because he thought she was a student from another school. When Jae stood above her, she really focused on Soulji. Soon after, Soulji went to her classroom. The teacher scolded Soulji when she was late. Then the teacher arranged for Soulji to sit at the back of the class. A while after the entrance ceremony ended, Jae arrived at the classroom. The teacher also finished taking attendance and left immediately. At the same time, Soulji's suitcase suddenly opened. She immediately ran to pick up the things scattered on the floor. Seeing that, Jae also went over and picked up a keychain for Soulji. Jae really paid attention to this strange girl. Immediately, the other female students all wanted to sit next to Jae. Some even prepared seats for her, but she ignored them all. Jae looked around the class to find a seat, and suddenly she went to the last table to sit next to Soulji. Jae opened her mouth to say hello, but Soulji only answered normally and didn't care much. During break time, the other female students came to Soulji to change seats. Everyone wanted to sit next to the school's queen Jae. Najin made a very attractive offer. If Soulji agreed to change seats with her, Soulji would be given as much money as she wanted. Soulji didn't hesitate and immediately agreed to change seats with Najin. But Soulji didn't need to accept anything from Najin. Soulji said that if Najin had a lot of money, she could buy her own makeup. After hearing that, Najin got angry and was about to fight with Soulji. At that moment, Jae appeared from nowhere and asked Najin to go out to eat. At the same time, Jae also asked Soulji to go with her. Suddenly, Jae pulled Soulji's hand and left. Much to the surprise of the other female students, feeling something was strange, Soulji asked if Jae could let go of her hand. But Jae said that today was her first day at school. Soulji held Jae's hand tightly so she wouldn't get lost. Jae wondered why she transferred schools. Soulji said that she went with her parents. Wonji asked Soulji where her family used to live, but she avoided it and didn't want to reveal it. Next, everyone asked Soulji which department she wanted to go to. She said that she wanted to go to medical school. That was the goal that every female student here wanted to get into. Everyone was even more surprised when they learned that Soulji only studied by herself and didn't study at any center. Everyone wondered how she could get into medical school. Everyone here was taking 3 to 4 extra classes at different centers. After lunch, a group of girls brought water to Jae's group. Then they all drank some kind of medicine, which made Soulji very curious. Back in class, Soul took her books and moved away because she had agreed to change places with Najin. Another friend asked Soulji if she had asked Jae's permission. Soulji replied that why would she ask Jae's permission? Soulji saw that her friend had just finished taking the medicine, so she gave her water to her friend. However, her friend poured it away and asked how she could trust Soulji to drink this water. Who knows if Soulji had put something in it? Maybe now Soulji sees her as a crazy person and feels sorry for her. But wait and see. Once Jae sets his sights on her, Soulji won't be able to stay calm. At the lab, Choi Kyung asks Jae if she'll keep Soulji by her side. Choi Kyung doesn't like people with unknown backgrounds joining the group. However, Jae doesn't reveal the reason why she wants to be close to Soulji. Jae says that this year there will be extra points for the class leadership. If Choi Kyung wants to be class president in the first semester, Jae will help. There's nothing Jae can't do at this school. Back in class, Jae asks Soulji why she changed seats. Soulji immediately makes an excuse that her eyesight is bad, so she can't see the board clearly when she sits below. Jae immediately tells the friends sitting next to Soulji to change seats with her. Seeing that, Soulji says that they shouldn't affect the other friends. Hearing this, the people around are stunned. Jae also doesn't want to change seats to sit next to Soulji anymore. But Jae remembers what Soulji said. After school, Soulji returned to her stepmother's house. The stepmother asked Soulji about the phone her father left behind. Even though Soulji was holding it, she said she hadn't seen it. A few days ago, Soulji found her biological father. However, that was also the time when he passed away. Soulji's stepmother accepted to raise Soulji, even though her husband was no longer around. In the box that Soulji's father left behind was the phone that the stepmother mentioned. In addition, there was Soulji's missing child flyer. That night, Soulji ordered a new school uniform online. Because she didn't have enough money, she could only buy a used one. She then went to the laundry to wash it. At the same time, an unknown number called her father's phone. She picked up the phone, but the person on the other end didn't say anything. The next morning, Soulji went to school wearing her new uniform. When Najin saw this, she deliberately threw the bottle of water she was drinking on Soulji. Najin then said that it was an accident. Next, Najin said that she smelled the fishy smell of semen on Soulji's uniform. Najin said that Soulji was playing with Jae, so she thought she was Cinderella. Then the whole class turned to laugh at Soulji. Seeing this scene reminded her of what happened at her old school. At that time, she was a victim of school violence. All day long, she was bullied and humiliated by her classmates. Right after that, Soulji went to the bathroom to wash her uniform. Jae suddenly appeared and hugged Soulji. Jae also brought a uniform for Soulji to change into. However, Soulji refused to wear it. Soulji kept saying that she was fine, so Jae shouldn't worry about it. Jae shouldn't have the illusion that everyone was happy with her friendliness. After Jae heard this, she threw the shirt in the trash and left in anger. Then the whole class had a mock test. They not only had to do it correctly, but also had to be quick. Soulji was surprised when the test included parts she had not studied. She was even more surprised when no one around her found it strange. After the test, the teacher gave a rough score. It was no surprise that Jae got a 10, Choi Kyung got a 9, and a few people got 6 to 8. Those who did not read their names were in the low score group. After the teacher left, everyone gathered around Jae to ask for the answers. Soulji immediately went to see the teacher to ask about her score. The teacher checked and saw that Soulji got a 4. The teacher was disappointed because Soulji had previously been number 1 at her old school, but now her score was so low. Soulji learned that the teacher would not re-examine the test in the next class because it was an ability test for the centers to evaluate the average score of the students. After that, Soulji went to the tutoring center. Then she learned that the tuition for 2 subjects was 25 million won, a huge amount of money that was beyond her ability. Here, Soulji also learned that the test had been solved 7 questions in advance by this center. She stopped by a nearby classroom and took out her phone to take a picture. At that moment, a teacher discovered it, so Soulji quickly ran away. In front of her pursuit, Soulji ran down the hall. Suddenly, Soulji met Jae. Jae knew what had happened, so she put a hat on Soulji. Then, Jae told Soulji to run to the rooftop to hide. After running to the rooftop, she remembered the haunting memories of being bullied. She sat in a corner in extreme fear. At that moment, Jae slowly walked over. Jae reached out to pull Soulji up. Much to Soulji's surprise, Jae has many strange things. Before Jae was born, her family had to choose a good day to give birth to her. Jae was lucky to be born into a millionaire family. Since she was little, Jae was a genius. She is good at everything everything from dancing, playing the piano, painting, and even martial arts. However, she is very weak in studying. This makes her father unhappy. Jae has an older sister who is 1 year older than her. In contrast to Jae, her older sister is very good at studying and is more pampered by her father. Seeing this, Jae is very upset. From then on, she studied even harder. Then one day, Jae caught up with her older sister. That day, her father gave Jae and her older sister a test. Jae excellently beat her older sister. Immediately after that, her father gave a punishment. Jae would be able to hit her older sister's hand based on the number of mistakes her sister made. So Jae had to hit her older sister, even though she didn't want to. After Jae hit her older sister, she felt extremely guilty because she didn't want to see her older sister in pain. Her father immediately asked her if she wanted the situation to be reversed. Then he told Jae a story about brotherly love. One day, God only accepted the offering of the younger brother, so the older brother got angry and took the younger brother to the field to kill him. Now if Jae didn't do that to her sister, one day her sister would do the same to her. After hearing what her father said, Jae told herself that she would not let her sister kill her. From then on, Jae always kept her distance from her sister. Whenever she had the chance, she would avoid her sister as much as possible. Then one day, Jae fell in love with a boy in school. When he tried to explore Jae's body, he discovered that she was wearing iron armor. Jae still didn't want to give her body to anyone. Every weekend, Jae's family often went to church to pray, but she felt very bored. She felt that no one around her really recognized her mistakes. At the same time, she herself did not do anything wrong to have to come here. And then Jae thought of a crazy thing to commit a crime. Jae began to hang out with rich kids. Every night she went to the nightclub to indulge in alcohol and music. Then she went to church to repent. Then one day Jae felt that she had seen God. She dreamed that she wore armor and jumped into a deep river. At this moment, Jae felt very comfortable and at ease. She felt safe and no longer haunted by the story her father told. Back to reality, Jae took Soulji to her family's hospital. Here, Jae was examined by a doctor and given brain tonic to drink, but Jae only kept it in her mouth and then secretly spat it out. Jae had prepared a new uniform for Soulji to change into. Soulji wondered why Jae treated her so well. Jae said it was because she admired Soulji. Jae knew everything about Soulji when she was at her old school. Soulji was always number one. Jae was curious about Soulji's method of studying without a tutor. Soulji said that her method of studying was not suitable for her new school. Jae then promised to share the math materials at the center with Soulji. In return, Jae only wanted Soulji's way of studying. Because of what Jae had done for her, Soulji gave her a keychain. The keychain had a cross on it that she always kept with her. On the way to pick Jae up, her father asked about the new transfer student. Jae's father heard that Soulji was always number one at her old school, but Jae said that Soulji was not enough to make her father worry. Soulji was not Jae's rival. The next day when she went to class, the teacher saw that Najin was absent, so the teacher announced that if she missed one day, her university ranking would drop 3 places. If you become a class officer, you will be promoted 3 ranks. Then the teacher wanted the whole class to elect a class president. After the teacher left, Soulji wanted to return to her old seat and sit next to Jae. Jae immediately nodded in agreement. This surprised everyone. The whole class then proceeded to elect a new class president. In addition to the only candidate, Choi Kyung, Jae unexpectedly nominated Soulji as well. Soulji wanted to refuse, but Jae stopped her. Then, Jae promised the teacher that she would help Soulji. Meanwhile, Choi Kyung was extremely angry because Jae had previously promised to make her the class president. At the end of the election, Soulji unexpectedly won against Choi Kyung. The happiest person was Jae's deskmate. Choi Kyung could not accept the truth, so she wanted to check the ballots again. She was sure that the ballots for Soulji were fraudulent because there were many similar words. Soulji replied that she was someone who absolutely could not receive support, yet she was able to mobilize her friends to cheat the votes. Or Choi Kyung meant that Soulji had someone secretly helping her. The teacher standing next to her also advised Choi Kyung to stop. Soulji would be the class president and Choi Kyung would be the vice president. Jae stood below and forced Choi Kyung to apologize for everything. Jae said that Choi Kyung had just insulted Soulji and her classmates. Then Choi Kyung had to apologize to everyone in anger. That night, Soulji tried to unlock her father's phone. She tried all the numbers related to him, but still couldn't. At that moment, Soulji received a message from Jae. Jae wanted Soulji to invite her to a meal because Soulji had become the class president. At this time, Jae's father received news that Soulji's stepmother was suing him for her husband's death. He ordered his men to pay her compensation and withdraw the lawsuit. Soulji's father's death was due to Jae's father's negligence. He was was trying to use money to cover up what had happened. At this time, Soulji arrived at the meeting place, but she did not see Jae. It turned out that Jae was sitting upstairs and had seen Soulji. However, Jae left Soulji waiting for her downstairs. The rain started, and Soulji was still waiting for Jae. A while later, when the rain stopped, Jae went to find Soulji. Here, Jae apologized for being late, but Jae's expression was full of pretense. Immediately after, Jae invited Soulji to her house to talk and stay overnight. Because Jae begged, Soulji had no choice but to agree. When she arrived, Soulji learned that Jae also had an older sister, but Jae's sister was always in the room. According to Jae, her older sister was as good as dead. Soulji was truly overwhelmed by Jae's magnificent bedroom. It was decorated as if it were under the ocean. Jae said that she loved the ocean, so she decorated it like that. It felt like being abandoned by the world down there, but not lonely. On the contrary, Jae felt completely peaceful. Just then, Jae's dog dragged a dress in. Soulji saw that and remembered that she had a dress like that. At that time, Soulji also wore it, and she called her parents' names in front of the sea. It seemed that was the time when she lost the two of them. Jae sat next to her and sympathized with Soulji's situation. Jae thought that it was the adult's fault, not Soulji's. Right after that, Jae took off her uniform in front of Soulji, making her very shy. At the same time, Soulji saw Jae's calendar marked with very strange days. Soulji lay in the bathtub and felt the life of a rich person. She really enjoyed the things around her. At this time, Jae was also there. Jae calmly took off her shirt and she stepped into the bathtub with Soulji. Jae did not hesitate to give Soulji a kiss that stunned her. Then the next kisses were responded to passionately by Soulji. Right after that, Soulji woke up when Jae was lying next to her. What just happened was just a dream. At the same time, Najin texted Jae and said that she would apologize to Soulji privately and transfer schools immediately, so Jae should delete that video. Soulji was really curious, so she secretly read everything. At this time, Choi Kyung got a complaint against Jae's father because Choi Kyung's mother was the lawyer in charge of the case of Soulji's father's death. It seemed that this was something Choi Kyung used to suppress Jae. Soulji was shocked when she saw her father's resume and hers in Jae's phone. There was also a video of Jae threatening Najin. Jae had secretly investigated everything about Soulji in the past. At this time, Choi Kyung was looking for information about Soulji's father's death. Choi Kyung discovered that it was all due to the medical error of Jae's father's hospital. Since she was a teenager, she discovered that she had reached puberty earlier than others. When Choi Kyung was on the train, she felt moved by the boys in front of her. She kept swallowing her saliva because of her excitement. Choi Kyung felt like she was possessed by a pervert. She was curious, so she went online to take a survey about love. The strange thing was that there was a question about the name of her deskmate in elementary school. Choi Kyung immediately remembered the deskmate she hated the most. That girl was very good at studying and was always number one in the school. This friend always acted like she knew everything, so she always told Choi Kyung what to do. One day, Choi Kyung got angry and hit her deskmate. Not long after that, the other friend transferred schools to study abroad in England. Choi Kyung was secretly happy that the number one student in the school had left and she would take that position, but Jae appeared and replaced her. Jae was both beautiful and good at studying. This shattered Choi Kyung's plans. Compared to her previous deskmate, Jae was even more hateful. Jae was excellent and always loved by everyone. This made Choi Kyung extremely jealous, but she couldn't say it out loud. Then one day, a handsome male student, Ha-jin, transferred to the school. Choi Kyung immediately fell for him. Choi Kyung was worried about Ha-jin day and night. However, Ha-jin revealed that he liked Jae. It was like a blow to Choi Kyung's head. Once again, Choi Kyung was inferior to Jae. From then until now, Choi Kyung has always disliked Jae. Choi Kyung always thought that Jae had taken away everything she deserved. Back to reality, when Jae woke up, Soulji had already left. There was only a neatly folded set of pajamas over there. Jae remembered that she had installed a tracking device on Soulji's phone last night. Jae immediately opened her phone to see and found out Soulji's location. During breakfast, Jae wondered why her sister hadn't come home yet. He said that her sister was already embarrassed enough about failing the university entrance exam. Her sister took the exam again with her. It seemed that her sister felt embarrassed again, so she didn't want to go home. Even though she hadn't contacted her family for a long time, he thought that this time, she would be very determined. Jae said that her sister would never win against her. When Soulji and Jae went to class and saw Jae, she immediately tried to avoid her. At the same time, everyone was discussing the news that Na-jin was about to transfer schools. Right after that, Jae went to see Soulji to talk. Jae asked why Soulji didn't greet her when she saw her. Jae asked where Soulji was going. Soulji said she was going going to the teacher's office. When they arrived, they saw Na-jin and her mother doing the transfer procedures. Na-jin immediately brought Soulji there to say goodbye to her, but Na-jin's face had no emotion. Back in class, everyone received the results of the literature test. Surprisingly, Jae only got an A. The one who got a perfect A was Soulji. A curious person wanted the teacher to read Soulji's essay to the whole class, but the teacher said that it contained a private story, so it was not convenient for him to read it here. After the whole class went to lunch, Jae secretly took Soulji's test. She left school because she had asked the teacher to leave early. When Soulji returned, she could not find the test. She searched her bag and personal locker but could not find it. The next day, when everyone came to class, there was Soulji's essay under everyone's desk. It was definitely Jae's trick. The content of the essay mentioned an orphan, a math teacher with acute blood poisoning, and a forensic doctor. Before everyone finished reading, Jae collected everything. Then she said that no one was allowed to read it without her permission. Soulji immediately wanted to talk to Jae privately. Here, Soulji asked why Jae was so angry. This was her business. Next, Soulji showed her the photo of the lost child search that she took from Jae's phone yesterday. Jae knew everything about Soulji, an orphan who had just lost her father. He was also the math teacher at this school. In addition, there was a video of Jae threatening Na-jin. When Jae found out that Na-jin was using stimulants, she threatened to post the video on social media. At that time, Na-jin knelt down to beg for forgiveness. Jae was very happy. Jae replied, why Na-jin touched other people's things without permission. Jae meant that Na-jin always tried to bully Soulji. It was also because Na-jin was afraid of Jae that she had to transfer schools. Na-jin was also the one who texted Jae to beg her to delete this video. Looking at the photos and videos that Soulji gave, Jae did not feel guilty at all. Instead, Jae thought that Soulji should thank her. Jae had just dealt with the bad kids who always bullied Soulji. Next, Soulji wanted to know why Jae had her father's relics and her information. Previously, Jae had gotten all the information from her father. He had prepared everything because he was about to face a lawsuit over Soulji's father's death, but now Jae could not reveal it. She said that even if she answered, it would be meaningless. Soulji firmly said that Jae did not know anything about her. Jae thought Soulji was ashamed of her unfortunate past, but Soulji wasn't ashamed at all. She left first. Back in class, a friend asked Soulji if she really lived in an orphanage. Choi-kyung replied that she couldn't read Korean. It was all in the essay, so why ask? Then Choi-kyung approached Soulji and asked her to go to the student council meeting. There, Choi-kyung asked if her recently deceased father was Mr. Do-hweek. So what hospital did her father die in? Soulji wondered how Choi-kyung knew about this. Choi-kyung revealed that her mother was the lawyer in charge of that case. Soulji's stepmother was filing a lawsuit against Jae's father. Soulji was surprised because she didn't know anything. Choi-kyung thought that with Jae's father's stature, he would easily let this case die. He didn't want to go to court because he was afraid of affecting G Hospital. They will seek reconciliation as soon as possible and are approaching Soulji's stepmother. At this point, Soulji also understood that she would become their next target. Choi-kyung thought that Jae's close relationship with Soulji would also affect this lawsuit. One day, they would play on Soulji's feelings to get a settlement signature. After a while, Soulji asked Choi-kyung why you told me all this. Choi-kyung said that it was probably because she felt inferior when standing next to Jae. Immediately after that, Soulji received a series of messages from Jae, but she did not reply to any of them. The next day, Soulji went to her stepmother's room to look for information. Soulji was sure that her stepmother had something to hide, so she did not reveal the lawsuit to Soulji. Here, Soulji found her father's insurance certificate. The amount received was up to 500 won. It seemed that was the reason why her stepmother wanted to hide Soulji. Immediately after, Soulji asked her stepmother why she hid the lawsuit from me. Do you want to take all the compensation money from G Hospital? And why did you come looking for me? Why didn't you leave me alone at the orphanage? Soulji will stay here until she finishes her college entrance exam. There are only 7 days left for the midterm exam, but Soulji's brain tonic is about to run out, so she immediately went to the hospital to ask for more. The doctor said that taking medicine to get good results is not a strange thing, but he can't prescribe it randomly. He wanted Soulji to take a test on her intellectual ability. The cost is 240,000 won. At the same time, Jae studied while receiving IV fluids from the doctor. This would help her focus more on her studies because she didn't have money to pay for the test. Soulji went to other hospitals to ask for free medicine, but no one was willing to prescribe medicine for her. On the way back, Soulji received a phone call from a sister at the orphanage. She offered to borrow some money from Soulji, but Soulji didn't have enough money to lend her. Then Soulji surfed social media to find the medicine she needed. She saw saw a site selling it, so she texted her, but they asked her to enter a password. There, Soulji saw that the site often posted pictures of paper cranes. Soulji remembered that 1G often gave her the same paper cranes. The strange thing was that there was always a series of numbers inside. Soulji entered the number and it was the password to buy the medicine, but the person behind the drug selling site was Ji. 1G was just the customer service person. The two then texted each other about the transaction address. 1G told Soulji to put 100,000 won in the cleaning kit in the game room. 1G gave Soulji the password to open the locker. Soulji immediately went there and put 100,000 won in the locker. A moment later, Ji went to get the money and put the medicine back in the cabinet. But before Ji could leave, Soulji appeared. Then Ji took off her mask because she didn't need to hide her identity anymore. Ji asked Soulji if this was her study method. Meeting each other like this would cause trouble for each other, so Ji told Soulji to pretend they had never met. Moreover, the medicine Soulji ordered was out of stock, so Ji gave her a stronger one. Soulji wanted to know what kind of medicine it was, but Ji said it was a business secret. Soulji felt uneasy, so she didn't want to take the medicine anymore and wanted her money back. But Ji thought that everyone in the school used medicine to study, so Soulji could rest assured if Soulji got a higher score than Ji on the upcoming exam, she would tell Soulji how she got the information about Soulji and why Ji kept it. Next, Ji gave Soulji the exam preparation materials from the tutoring center. It seemed like Ji wanted to challenge Soulji to beat her in this exam. After Soulji opened the black bag that Ji sent, there was a yellow medicine inside. Soulji believed it and drank it right away. Soulji immediately felt something unusual in her body. She started to hallucinate. She saw water pouring into the room from somewhere, and then water suddenly flew out of the glass in front of her eyes, making her panic. At this time, Yeri suddenly went to a karaoke bar. The manager asked her what she was doing there, because she still looked like a student. She said that Yeri was so beautiful, so Yeri should become an actress. Yeri said that she was not an actress but would go to university. Yeri came here just to earn tuition money. The manager wanted Yeri to think carefully, because once she stepped in here, she would not be able to get out. After hearing that, it seemed like Yeri did not want to go down this path anymore. Yeri's mother used to be a waitress at a karaoke bar. At that time, she really didn't want her mother to follow this path at all. Right after that, Yeri went straight into the karaoke room. Yeri grabbed the mic and sang innocently. Her mother stood outside and witnessed this. Her mother thought that she was very talented in art. Since then, her mother quit her job at the bar to focus all her efforts on her. Her mother took her everywhere to audition for roles. She even didn't feed her anything for 3 days to keep in shape. However, when she auditioned, Yeri was eliminated in the first round. In order for Yeri to get the role, her mother had to give herself to the director. Yeri stood outside and witnessed everything. At that time, Yeri promised not to tell her father about this. She wanted her mother to feed her everything she liked. Of course, her mother couldn't refuse. From that day on, she also quit acting. When Yeri grew up, she still had that weakness of her mother. Whatever she asked for, her mother had to fulfill all of it. Yeri loved to find out and grasp other people's weaknesses, because she knew that one day they would be useful to her. Then one day, Yeri approached Ji's father to blackmail him, because she had a secret about his eldest daughter. Here Yeri asked if he was looking for Jaina. Everyone thought Jaina was studying hard for her university entrance exam, but it seemed that wasn't the case. Ji didn't know about this either, right? If Jaina was missing, he could have called the police to investigate. He couldn't do that because there was a reason behind it, right? He said that he needed to think about it more. At the same time, he also wanted to know what Yeri would bring to him. Back in reality, 1G was preparing medicine to sell to those in need. At that time, Ji texted. Ji said that from now on, if she didn't give her orders, 1G couldn't do anything, even if she had an order. 1G immediately refused to sell the medicine to her friend despite her pleading. That day, the midterm exam was also held. Before the teacher handed out the questions, Soulji took a pill bought from Ji. Then Soulji reviewed the documents that Ji had given her the day before. Immediately after that, the teacher told everyone to put their books in their bags to prepare for the exam. Soulji was really surprised when the exam questions were exactly the same as the documents that Ji had given her. Soulji glanced at Ji and she responded with a wink. The next day, the test results were out and posted on the bulletin board. It was no surprise that both Soulji and Ji ranked first in the school. Meanwhile, the girl who couldn't buy the medicine was very angry because she fell out of the top 20. She turned to blame Soulji for causing her to be like that, while Soulji didn't understand what was going on. Just then, Soulji received a call from Byung-jin at the orphanage. He was in front of the school gate waving to her. Soulji was afraid worried that the other students would recognize him, so she had to ignore him. Only one person, Jae, realized the connection between the two. Soulji's test result surprised teacher. The teacher wanted to know how Soulji did it. Soulji couldn't reveal it, and she wanted to skip the upcoming health check. This made the teacher even more curious, because this was right of the top 20. Just then, Choi Kyung walked in and wanted the teacher to acknowledge her fifth question because the question wasn't clear. However, the teacher didn't acknowledge it and said that the result was wrong. Outside, Choi Kyung angrily tore up the test. At this time, Jae asked Soulji if the guy outside the gate was her boyfriend, but Soulji didn't say anything. At the same time, Choi Kyung appeared and gave Yeri her spot for the health check. At the same time, she really wanted to know what Soulji's secret to studying was. Choi Kyung was really disappointed with her exam results this time. Soon after, Soulji made an appointment to meet Byung-jin at the orphanage. Here, he asked her if her friends knew about her drug addiction. Did she get it herself or buy it this time? Soulji lied that she had quit smoking after moving here. But how could he believe that when she was ranked #1 in the school without using drugs? He immediately dragged her into the fitting room and held a knife to her neck. He asked about the whereabouts of the girl, Sojin, who had called Soulji a few days ago to borrow money. Only when Soulji said that she didn't know where Sojin was did he let her go. He also knew that Soulji used to take the money herself when she sold drugs. This was understandable, because Soulji needed money to take care of her life. He knew that, but always ignored her. Soulji then got on the bus to go to the hospital for a routine checkup. When Soulji saw Jae on the bus, she ignored her and sat in the back seat. Jae sat next to Soulji and provoked her by saying that there were people who spent a lot of money to go to extra classes, but someone like Soulji, who didn't go to any classes, was the best. When they arrived at the hospital, everyone had to get their urine tested by the doctors. Soulji was very worried that her drug use would be exposed. At the same time, Soulji received a text message from Jae saying that she had something that Soulji really needed. Then Jae told Soulji to meet her on the rooftop. When Soulji arrived, she saw Jae standing on the railing. Soulji placed the bottle of urine at Jae's feet and knelt down, saying that she was so stupid. From the matter of the uniform, the extra class center to the final exam, Jae did everything just to make Soulji kneel before Jae. But Soulji didn't know. Now, whatever Jae wants, Soulji will do. Does Jae want to mediate the lawsuit related to Soulji's father? Soulji will try to do as Jae wants. In return, Soulji wants Jae to help her stay safe. Soulji is very afraid of being isolated and bullied by her friends, so Jae should help her not have problems with her health test results. Studying is very important to her at this time. It is her only guardian and a shield to protect her from the people around her. However, Jae said that she did not care about the mediation, but Jae will agree to help Soulji stay safe. Then Jae gave Soulji a bottle of urine that did not contain any illegal substances. Next, Soulji asked Jae why she had information about her father and her. Here, Jae also told the truth that she got it from her father's office. Jae knew that her father was being sued for medical negligence, but she did not expect to get so much information from Soulji's father, the stepmother, and Soulji. Before leaving, Jae said something meaningful, saying that she would see what Soulji could do for her. While under anesthesia for a health check, Soulji had a dream about her childhood. She stood in front of the sea and called out her parents' names in loneliness. At that time, Jae appeared from nowhere and guided her. It was similar to the story in the present. Jae always mysteriously helped Soulji. Back in reality, Yeri quietly went to Soulji's bed and took the bracelet. Along with it was Soulji's father's phone. Jae witnessed everything. When Jae went to check, Soulji's bracelet had disappeared. Jae wondered what Yeri would do with it, but Jae couldn't believe Yeri would also take the phone. That night at the festival, Jae texted Wonji and said that Yeri looked a bit strange today, so she had to stay by her side to monitor her. Meanwhile, Jae was always by Soulji's side, intimately. Jae did not leave Soulji's side, even for half a step. At the same time, Bongjin was also there. At this time, Yeri checked Soulji's father's phone, and it ran out of battery. At this time, Bomsu went to vomit because she had taken a lot of medicine before. Taking this opportunity, Yeri asked Bomsu to find a phone charger for her. In return, Yeri would let Bomsu participate in a blind date program. Wonji was also there, so she heard everything. Wonji immediately informed Jae that Yeri needed to charge her phone, but it seemed that the phone was not Yeri's. Ye-ri's. Then Jae told Wonji to continue following Ye-ri. Jae's father did not like it at all. When he saw her being close to Soulji, he approached and told the two of them not to drink carbonated water because it was not good. However, Soulji still drank it. Next, he told her not to eat grilled meat because it contained substances that could cause cancer. But Soulji still ate and said that her father did not have cancer even though he still ate burnt meat. But in the end, he still died early. Who knows whether a person will live or die? Even though Jae knew that Soulji was provoking her father, she felt very happy because in fact, she did not like her father. At this time, Choi Kyung met Ye-ri, so she asked about Soulji's whereabouts. But Ye-ri said that after the health check, she did not see Soulji anywhere. Ye-ri also thanked Choi Kyung for letting her go for the regular health check. In return, Ye-ri pulled Choi Kyung to attend the blind date. At this time, another girl pulled Byung-jin in. The two of them would have 3 minutes to ask everything about each other. Seeing that Choi Kyung seemed to have back pain, he gave her a medical patch. Then he asked her if she knew Soulji from grade 12. If she used the patch and it worked, she would tell Soulji. Right after he left, he bumped into Ye-ri, who was also entering the room. Ye-ri was looking for her phone charger when she discovered it under the table. Ye-ri left Soulji's father's phone there and left. After an evening of playing with Jae, Soulji felt very comfortable. Here, Soulji also told Jae the truth that she still didn't trust Jae. However, Soulji felt very happy being with Jae. Meanwhile, Ye-ri quietly went to meet Jae's father. He immediately asked about the phone, but she said that Soulji had 2 phones. He wanted to take which one so he could tell her clearly. Although Ye-ri knew she had taken Soulji's father's phone, she said that to get him to increase the salary, Jae's father immediately promised to give Ye-ri 5 million won. At this time, Wonji took a photo of the meeting between the two. Meanwhile, Bom-soo had found the phone charger that Ye-ri needed. Just then, a girl walked in. Bom-soo immediately recognized that it was Jae-na, Jae's older sister. At this time, Jae received the photo that Wonji sent. She immediately recognized that it was her father's car. At the same time, Choi Kyung went to see Soulji because she couldn't get through to Soulji's phone. Right after that, Jae asked to go first. Soulji checked her backpack and couldn't find her father's phone. This made her really panic. Wonji showed Jae where Ye-ri was charging that phone. At the same time, she also heard that it belonged to Mr. Do-hweek. Jae went into the blind date room to look for it, and that was when the phone rang. She immediately picked up the phone, but the person on the other end didn't say anything. Then she sat in the bathroom trying to unlock the phone. Jae remembered that in Soulji's father's missing child flyer, it mentioned the date that her child was lost. Jae immediately entered that number, and it was the password. Jae saw a text message that someone sent to threaten Soulji's father. Inside was a video of Soulji's father being intimate with a girl. Jae was shocked when the girl was her sister, Jae-na. Jae immediately went to the room in the video. Bom-soo happily brought the charger to Ye-ri, but now it no longer meant anything because the phone was missing. At the same time, Soulji was also looking for her father's phone. Jae's father knew that, so he asked Ye-ri to help Soulji find it. Looking into the eyes of these two people made Soulji feel very suspicious. Bom-soo told Jae's father that she had just seen Jae-na. Jae-na looked much thinner. Ye-ri thought Bom-soo was talking nonsense, so she pushed Bom-soo down. Bom-soo was crazy. Bom-soo held a knife and kept criticizing Ye-ri. Ye-ri thinks Bom-soo is paranoid because she always thinks she is the victim. That's why Jae stopped playing with Bom-soo. After hearing this, Bom-soo immediately attacked Ye-ri, but the slash missed. Then Bom-soo turned around and stabbed Soulji, injuring her and causing her to collapse. Everyone around was extremely panicked. Above the room where Jae was standing, a person quietly walked in. This made her really worried. That person slowly walked towards Jae and took off his hat. It turned out to be Jae-na. Since Jae-na was little, she was a sensible child. In the test that her father gave to the two sisters, she deliberately got the answer wrong. Jae-na would rather be punished than hit Jae, but because of that, her father turned to pamper Jae more. He was no different from a madman who always wanted to turn normal people into patients. From his wife to his 2 daughters, he forced them to take medicine. That day, Jae-na heard her parents discuss separation. Jae-na was afraid that Jae would hear, so she covered Jaeji's ears. Their father wanted to take custody of Jae so that she could run the hospital later. At the same time, he did not hesitate to say that he would abandon Jae-na. Since then, Jae-na has always been afraid that her father would abandon her and that her family would fall apart. She began to change herself to gain her parents' trust. Jae-na turned to taking care of Jae from the smallest things, from washing her face, meals to changing Jaeji's school clothes. Then Jae-na realized that Jae no longer needed her. Jae-na began to pray to God with a crazy wish. She wanted him to give her an incurable disease that had no cure so that her parents and sister would feel sorry for her and pity her. Right after After that request, Jae suddenly fainted on the floor. Then her father took her to the hospital for a health check. Jae-na was found to have narcolepsy, so she could faint at any time. A few days later, Jae-na's condition improved and she felt less sleepy. After Jae-na recovered, her father placed high expectations on her. He was sure that she would focus more on her studies and would be the top of the school. Then he promised to always support Jae-na. What he said put a lot of pressure on Jae-na. Sitting in class, she was always haunted by the thought that her father would be behind her to watch her. Jae-na could not concentrate on her studies even though she took a lot of medicine that her father gave her. She did not know what would happen to her if she did not come out on top in the next exam. She was so obsessed with her father's expectations that she had to do everything she could to achieve this goal. That night, Jae-na went to the school's teacher's room. She broke the door lock with the intention of stealing the exam papers. When Jae-na went inside, she put her phone on the bookshelf to shine a light to find it. But before Jae-na could get it to leave, she was discovered by Soulji's father. Jae-na was so scared that she fainted. A moment later, Jae-na woke up on the sofa. Jae-na was afraid that Mr. Do-hweek would tell her father about this, so she knelt down to beg. Do-hweek immediately asked Jae-na if this was her first time. Why did she do that? After hearing this, Jae-na burst into tears and told the teacher not to give up on her. Jae-na immediately hugged Mr. Do-hweek. It seemed like she wanted to use her feelings to shut Do-hweek's mouth. Do-hweek tried to stop Jae-na, but accidentally touched her smartwatch. Then the phone on the shelf also switched to recording mode, and no one knew. Back to reality, Jae-na revealed to Jae that their father had killed Mr. Do-hweek. At the same time, Jae-na wanted to take Do-hweek's phone from Jae's hand. However, Jae refused to give it to her. While the two were struggling, the phone fell down below. Jae immediately ran down to get it back. Meanwhile, Jae-na jumped down through the window. Before Jae-na could find the phone, the security guard shined a light in. Jae-na was so traumatized that she mistook the security guard for Do-hweek, so she ran away immediately. When Jae got downstairs, the phone was still there. At the same time, the school announced that the festival was over and invited the students back to class. At this time, Choi-kyung secretly took the knife that Bom-soo used. At the same time, Jae came to ask what happened. Choi-kyung said that Soulji was injured, so Jae's father took her to the hospital. Jae seemed very worried, so she immediately ran there. While Yeri was looking for bandages, the principal brought Bom-soo in to ask if she had used drugs. Hearing that, Bom-soo was startled and dropped the glass in her hand. Yeri was hiding inside, and she understood a bit. Meanwhile, Jae ran into the operating room because she was afraid that her father would do something to Soulji. At this time, Soulji had been injected with anesthesia. He was about to stitch her wound. Then he gave Jae the needle and thread to try. Jae held Soulji's hand tightly as if to show his concern for her. Jae's father said that Soulji grew up in an orphanage and had a very poor diet. That's why the skin under the fat had no elasticity. But since Soulji was Jae's friend, he would try his best not to leave any scars. After hearing this, Jae suddenly wanted to stitch Soulji's wound himself. In the classroom, the teacher confiscated all the things suspected of containing illegal substances. She didn't even spare the digestive medicine. Then the teacher told Choi-kyung to check the lockers of the classmates, but there was nothing. Only the 3 people who were absent today couldn't be checked. A moment later, Soulji left to the operating room, and her stepmother rushed over. Soulji's stepmother blamed Jae's father for being used to operating on patients without the guardian's consent. She would transfer Soulji to another hospital right now. He replied that if there was another hospital at this time, she could transfer her. However, Soulji had just finished stitching her wound and was at risk of infection. Soulji's stepmother needed to sign a consent form before she could leave. Jae's father then sat down to check Bom-soo's medical records. He thought that this was a serious symptom. Meanwhile, Soulji's medical records did not reveal anything unusual. When Jae returned home, she received a call from Won-ji. Won-ji revealed that Bom-soo had taken drugs, which was why she stabbed Soulji. What if the two of them were found to be selling drugs? Jae thought that she had nothing to do with this. Jae had previously told Won-ji to absolutely not deal directly with her. Why did Won-ji sell drugs to Bom-soo without permission? But Won-ji is just the seller, and Jae is the supplier. Jae told Won-ji not to worry too much and not to show up. Just keep quiet like she told her to. What worries Won-ji the most is that Soulji knows about Jae selling drugs. If Soulji opens her mouth, they will be in trouble. This also makes Jae very worried. At this time, Choi-kyung's mother wants to get the knife that Bom-soo stabbed Soulji with. Choi-kyung had intended to use it to report to the police because the school was trying to cover up everything. However, the mother did not want Choi-kyung to act hastily because that would make it difficult for her to get into university. The video of Bom-soo attacking Soulji is spreading all over social media. Byung-jin Jin and Jae's father both laughed happily when they saw it. At this time, Soulji woke up in the hospital bed. She was also watching the video on social media. At this moment, Jae suddenly appeared and hugged Soulji from behind. Immediately after that, Jae took Soulji outside to get some fresh air to relieve stress. Here, Jae said that sometimes she imagined her dog dying. She was afraid that she would be sad if it died. Recently, Jae also often imagined Soulji dying. After hearing that, Soulji was really stunned. A moment later, Soulji asked Jae if he had seen her phone. It was her father's phone, but she had dropped it. The phone had a password, so she couldn't open it yet. Jae must know Soulji's father. Jae immediately said that Soulji's father had never taught her, but it seemed like he wasn't a good person either. There were rumors that he slept with students. Soulji immediately said that probably wasn't the case, but Jae said that wasn't a good thing. Soulji would be less wronged than if her father was a good person. Soulji was really surprised by what Jae said. Soulji angrily told Jae that Jae looked pitiful. Not everyone was as bad as Jae. Soulji returned to the hospital, and the door was suddenly locked, so Soulji had to find another way in. At that moment, she accidentally saw a horrifying scene. Jae's uncle was directing his men to carry something that looked very much like a corpse. They put the corpse in the truck and quickly left. Right after that, Soulji went through the back door to enter the hospital. At this time, she received a phone call from Byung-jin. He provoked her because thanks to taking medicine, she was at the top of the school with the director's daughter. At the same time, the secret about the school's college entrance rate was exploding all over social media. He had a new business strategy, so he wanted her to collect painkillers for him. Just then, Soulji saw a suspicious black bag in the other room. She panicked when she learned that inside were dead bodies. At the same time, Jae's father was behind her, making Soulji even more panicked. Soulji had no choice but to hang up and tell Byung-jin she would call him back later. Jae's father said that Soulji wanted to go to medical school, right? So had she ever seen a corpse before? Jae was scared, so she wanted to go back to her room, but he stopped her. He said that the corpses here were all unidentified. In order to perform surgery more perfectly, he practiced with these corpses every day. They didn't have money for a funeral, so their families refused to accept the corpses. He collected the corpses of these poor people and cremated them. Wasn't that good for both sides? Soulji was still very scared. She opened the door to get out, but it was locked. He immediately said that if she wanted to go to medical school, she shouldn't be afraid of blood and surgical instruments. She would soon experience it. Then he opened the door for Soulji to go home. At this time, Jae was electrocuted by Jae-na and passed out. After Jae woke up, Jae-na immediately asked about teacher Do-hweek's phone. Jae asked if her father knew about the relationship between Jae-na and teacher Do-hweek, so he killed Do-hweek. Jae asked if Jae-na had any evidence. Jae-na immediately said that she was the witness. Jae didn't know how scary their father was. However, Jae didn't carry that phone with her. She gave Jae-na another phone and told Jae-na to remember to answer the phone. Jae would give teacher Do-hweek's phone to Jae-na later. Jae wouldn't tell their father about their meeting, so Jae-na didn't have to worry. The next day, the police were present in the classroom to continue investigating the Tuol incident. Last night, a female student in the class said that Bomsu had no friends, but she wasn't bullied. She just isolated herself from the group. Another person said that Bomsu often took medicine, but she did not know what kind of medicine. Choi Kyung said that Bomsu did not look well. Bomsu was sweating profusely and drank a lot of water. Wonji said that Bomsu was not in the top 20 students. If Soulji had not transferred to the school, things would have been different. She must have been angry, so she did that. The police asked Jae if, according to the other students, she was the closest person to Soulji. Jae did not answer, but instead asked him what he was curious about Soulji. At the same time, her stepmother brought Soulji to school. Her stepmother always told her not to accept any apology. Immediately after, the principal invited Soulji to her room because Bomsu's parents were there. Bomsu's family wondered and asked the principal if it was okay for Soulji to not have a guardian here. The principal said that Soulji came from an orphanage, so she had no family. Bomsu's family was about to leave, but Soulji said that she had a guardian. The person she was referring to was her stepmother. Soulji's stepmother showed up a while later. The principal was upset that someone had reported this to the police. She thought that this was not a serious matter, so they just needed to handle it internally. Soulji's stepmother said that since someone was injured, the perpetrator should be punished. Before fixing the problem, it should have started with a sincere apology. Bomsu's family's lawyer said that looking at the outcome of the incident, Bomsu was indeed wrong, but the reason came from Soulji herself. Then he asked Bomsu to tell the truth. Bomsu said that she was very tired because of her bad midterm results, so Soulji gave Bomsu the medicine medicine, and said that after taking it, her spirit would improve. Soulji was extremely shocked and kept saying that she had never given the medicine to Bomsu. Bomsu sat opposite and said, "That wasn't Soulji selling medicine?" Soulji also told Bomsu that taking 6 white pills and 1 pink pill would work immediately, but Soulji didn't do anything. Soulji didn't understand why Bomsu lied like that. Everyone in this room was an accomplice and was against Soulji. The homeroom teacher said that she had checked Soulji's personal locker. At the same time, everyone in the class said that there had been such things recently. The principal wanted to hold a meeting of the anti-school violence committee to discuss Soulji's expulsion. Both her stepmother and Soulji strongly objected to this matter because everything had not been cleared up yet. Right after that, the police wanted to ask Soulji if she had stolen the medicine from G Hospital. What did Soulji do with the medicine, or did she sell it to her friends for money? Soulji immediately denied everything, but the police said that there was evidence that on the day she returned her medical examination results, she went near the hospital's drug storage room. It turned out that Jae told Soulji to go everywhere in the hospital before meeting on the rooftop. Only now did Soulji suddenly remember this. At this time, Soulji had to reveal Jae's name. It was Jae who sold drugs to students for money, not Soulji. Immediately after that, the homeroom teacher called Wonji to meet the police. Soulji was allowed to return to class. A moment later, Wonji told Jae that it was Soulji who revealed Jae's name. This was wrong from the start. Even if everything was exposed, Jae still had a talented father behind her. Wonji was really stupid, so she believed Jae. When Jar-ri went outside, she heard the conversation between her father and the principal. Jae-ri's father said that this matter was related to Soulji. Everything will be resolved soon, so don't worry too much, principal. Back in class, Jae wanted to talk to Soulji privately. However, Soulji said that she had nothing to say. At the same time, Soulji said that she didn't feel sorry for Jae at all. She didn't do it, so why should she take the blame? They thought someone like her couldn't speak up when being trampled on. Jae suddenly told Soulji that she did a good job. At the same time, Byung-jin was also there. Seeing that, she pulled him away. When she returned home, he asked about the painkillers. She took them out of her bag and gave them to him. Those were the pills she was given for her injury, but she hadn't taken a single pill in the past few days. Then he asked her where she had bought the pills. She said that she had bought them online. In order to take over the drug market in Seoul, he wanted to catch the drug seller. Then he beat him up to get the right to sell them. He immediately made her order the drugs where she bought them. Then he also wanted the login account she was texting. Jae then asked her father if he was really going to make Soulji a criminal. No matter how many times Soulji said Jae was a drug dealer, no one would believe her. Jae's father also advised her to stop selling drugs to those kids, but Jae said that her playing around could trample on Soulji's dreams. Jae knew that her father took Do-hyuk's phone because it had something extremely interesting left after her father killed Do-hyuk. Jae's father said that if she wanted to see Soulji labeled as the daughter of a student rapist for the rest of her life, then she could do it. That's how cruel Jae is. Jae wanted to call Jena to see if she really raped her, but her father immediately stopped her. At this point, Jae also understood that her father didn't know if it was rape or not. The next day when Soulji went to class, she received a text message from Byung-jin. He sent her the time and location to pick up the pills. Soulji still didn't know if Wonji or Jae was behind the text message. After school, Soulji hurriedly left the classroom, making Jae curious. She checked her locker in the club room, but didn't find any pills. Jae immediately went to Wonji to ask her what happened, but Wonji said that she had already sold them all. Jae was afraid that it was Soulji's trap. If Soulji colluded with the police to catch them red-handed, they would both be dead. Wonji told Jae not to worry because she had already reported it to the police. Wonji had previously used the school phone to reveal the transaction location at a locker at Gangnam Station. Jae was extremely panicked when she heard this. Jae grabbed Wonji's phone and ran there. Jae called Soulji to stop her, but she didn't pick up. Jae then texted Jena and said that she would return Do-hyuk's phone to Jena. Jena should quickly meet Jae at exit 4 of Gangnam Station. At this time, Jena texted Soulji's stepmother that she would be a little late and that she would bring Do-hyuk's phone. Meanwhile, Byung-jin received news that the transaction point was moved to exit 8, so he texted Soulji about the new location. At the same time, Jena arrived at the station and received a call from Jae. Jae said that she had put the phone in her personal locker at exit 4. When Jena opened the locker, she only saw a pile of drugs. Jena knew she had been tricked, so she ran away. Byung-jin, who was standing nearby, saw this. Soulji went to exit 8 and saw Jae. Jae immediately pulled Soulji away without saying anything. After Jena ran outside, she was taken away by 2 strange men. They put Jae-na in the ambulance and left. Behind her was her father. Since childhood, Taejun was a very eccentric child. He often opened the stomach of everything from teddy bears to fish during meals. He did so with the hope of reading their minds. Then one day, his family was walking on the street when they saw a mouse hit by a car. His parents dug a hole to carefully bury it, but that night, out of curiosity, Taejun dug it up. At this time, his hands were covered in blood. That was also the moment that brought him to the profession of surgeon. Later, Taejun took on many different surgeries, but he could not read other people's minds. This made him very desperate. Outside, Jae saw her father performing surgery, and she followed suit with the teddy bear. Taejun saw this, so he began to have more faith that Jae would be the one chosen to continue the path that he could not. Back to reality, Jae explains to Soulji that it was all a trap created by 1G. At the same time, Jae also wants to know who the guy who told Soulji to get the medicine really is. Soulji reveals that he was the first guy to give her medicine. Although it was not good, thanks to him, her grades increased, and she was no longer bullied by everyone. The two then return to exit 4 of the station, but the medicine in the cabinet has been taken away. Jae immediately calls Jae-na, but she cannot contact Jae-na. Soulji wonders if Jae-na has been arrested by the police. Jae calmly replies that she called to get Jae-na arrested. This makes Soulji really surprised. The two go to the police station to find Jae-na, but she is not there. Jae can't think of a place where Jae-na could be because she doesn't know anything about her sister. Soulji feels uneasy, so she wants Jae to call Jae-na one more time. Surprisingly, Jae-na's phone rang again, but no one answered. Jae checked the location and found it in her house. Jae immediately took a taxi home. Jae ran into Jae-na's room, but she wasn't there. Jae continued to call Jae-na, but the phone rang in her room again. At the same time, her father was behind her, startling her. Seeing her in the rain, he looked worried. He was afraid that Jae would catch a cold and affect the upcoming mock exam. He also advised her to take a hot bath and go to the hospital tomorrow for a checkup. Right after that, Jae checked the secret box and teacher Do-hwaek's phone had disappeared. She also discovered that the balcony door was suddenly wide open. When Soulji returned home, she saw many missed calls from Byung-jin, but she didn't call back any of them. The next day, the school held a drug abuse and addiction prevention education session. At this time, the video of Jae threatening Na-jin was suddenly posted on social media. Everyone in the school was notified about this video. There were many comments mentioning Jae's power that no one dared to touch. No one knew who posted it, but Jae seemed very happy. At the same time, the police suddenly appeared and released a video at the train station. The police revealed that yesterday there was an illegal drug transaction. If anyone knows who the girl in the video is, please report it to the police. At the same time, the principal walked in and was very angry that the police suddenly came to the school without any notice. The police said that yesterday's report was sent from the school. Do you know anything about this? Jae sat below and said that she knew who the person in the camera was. Jae did not hesitate to reveal that it was Jae-na, the daughter of the medical center director, and also her older sister. Everyone sitting below was stunned. Jae said that she had seen her sister steal medicine from her father's hospital many times. Maybe Bom-soo also bought medicine from Jae-na because Jae-na was also at school on the day of the festival. The police immediately asked Jae where Jae-na was now. Jae said that she did not know. Jae-na disappeared after she failed the college entrance exam. Jae told the police to definitely find her sister. When they went outside, Soulji wondered why Jae did that. Jae did not need to do that, but Jae thought it would be much better if the police found Jae-na before their father. When Bom-soo secretly met Yeori to get something, Yeori asked if Bom-soo's statement about buying medicine from Soulji was a lie, right? Whose idea was that? But Bom-soo didn't dare say it. At this time, Jae and Soulgi secretly went to the school's surveillance room. There, Jae found a security camera recording Jae-na's appearance at school on the day of the festival. The two were surprised to see Choi Kyung and Jae-na having a conversation. The two were very curious about what they had said to each other. That same night, they went to the tutoring center to follow Choi Kyung. Soulji immediately called Choi Kyung and asked where she was. Choi Kyung said she was having dinner with her mother and then hung up. However, Choi Kyung walked out of the tutoring center right after. Because of this lie, the two were even more curious about Choi Kyung, so they secretly followed her. Seeing Choi Kyung get on the bus, Soulgi understood where she wanted to go. Soulji immediately told Jae to go home first today. Jae pretended to agree, but she secretly followed Soulji. When Soulgi got home, she accidentally bumped into Choi Kyung. Soulgi asked why Choi Kyung was in front of her house. Choi Kyung was confused and said that she didn't know this was Soulgi's house. It turned out that Choi Kyung was the one who reported the incident at school to the police. Choi Kyung was also the one who revealed to Soulji's stepmother about about Do-hwaek's mysterious death. At the same time, Jae also took a taxi. Then Jae asked Choi-kyung about the conversation with Jae-na that night. After a moment of hesitation, Choi-kyung said that Jae-na asked her to keep their meeting a secret because Jae and Jae-na's relationship was not good. Choi-kyung had known Jae for 6 years, and Jae had never mentioned her sister. Choi-kyung angrily said that because Jae was suspected of selling illegal drugs, she mentioned her sister to blame her. If Choi-kyung were Jae-na, she would no longer consider Jae as her sister. Jae only knew herself and never cared about the thoughts of the people around her. At that moment, Jae received an anonymous phone call. The person on the other end revealed that I know where Jae-na is now. If Jae wants to know specifically, she should bring 30 concertina pills to this address before 1 o'clock tonight. After hearing this, Jae rushed home. Seeing that, Soulji and Choi-kyung also followed her. When Jae returned to her room, she immediately took out the pills from the box to trade. When she ran outside, her 2 friends were still there. Soulji knew about this, so she also wanted to go with Jae. Choi-kyung stood next to her, thinking that the 2 of them couldn't go to the bar dressed like this. Immediately after, the 3 of them went into Jae's room to change their appearance. From their clothes to their hair, they had to look as much like a playboy as possible. However, Choi-kyung wasn't used to dressing like this. When they arrived at the bar, Jae and Soulgi were both let in separately. They were suspicious of Choi-kyung's age. Because Choi-kyung looked like a high school student, Jae immediately took off Choi-kyung's glasses and said that it was just because of that. And so the 3 of them successfully passed the door. The transaction location was the restroom of this bar. Jae immediately went there, put the medicine in the water tank, and left. Soulji stood outside and was tasked with monitoring who the mysterious person was. Choi-kyung wondered why the caller was a man and why the transaction location was the women's restroom. Jae thought that they might have an accomplice. Jae and Choi-kyung would stay out here to observe the most suspicious people. A moment later, a very suspicious drunk guy entered the women's restroom. Soulgi immediately informed her 2 teammates about this. When the suspicious guy left, Soulji followed. At the same time, another girl entered. Choi-kyung saw this. Choi-kyung stood in the bathroom next door and was surprised to see that the girl was Yeri. After Yeri was caught red-handed, she apologized to everyone. The reason Yeri needed those drugs was because she wanted to sell them to make money. Jae promised that she would give all those drugs to Yeri. As long as Yeri told the truth, that was all. Yeri admitted that she had stolen Solgi's father's phone before, because Jae's father promised to pay Yeri a large sum of money, but then the phone was stolen by someone. Jae's father must have contacted Bomsu, because on the night of the festival, Yeri saw something unusual about Bomsu. At the same time, Yeri was sure that he had not found Jenna yet, so Yeri thought that if she threw the bait, Jae would fall into the trap. Yeri really needed money because her family was bankrupt. The house was also auctioned off, so Yeri couldn't go back. So she's been sleeping in the sauna for a long time. Soulgi gently told Yeri to be careful when she's there at night. Soulji didn't blame Yeri, even though Yeri had stolen her father's phone before. Choi-kyung was sure that there was something important inside the phone. At the same time, Byung-jin was also there. Since Byung-jin had met Jae at the bar before, he asked if they were looking for Jae's sister. Yeri then showed Jaena's photo. Byung-jin immediately recognized her. He had met Jae-na at the festival when she climbed over the fence to escape. At that time, he also picked up her ID card. It had the name of Sojin, the person he was looking for. It seemed that Sojin had sold it to Jae-na. Soulji then asked to speak to Byung-jin alone. She asked if he had met Jae-na at the train station that day. He had to find Jae-na so he could catch Sojin soon. Byung-jin admitted that he had seen Jae-na being dragged into the ambulance. It looked like a kidnapping. At this time, Jae received a phone call informing him that Jae-na had been found. At this time, Taejun refused to let the police examine Jae-na's body. At the same time, Jae also arrived. According to the doctor there, Jae-na had fallen down the mountain. It seemed that she had hit her head on a rock, causing her face to be disfigured. Jae was truly shocked when she witnessed this scene of Jae-na. The next day, saw her friends painting her toenails yellow, and she remembered something. The body she saw at the hospital that day also had yellow toenails and had burns on its feet. Up there, the group of friends were discussing whether Jae was the one who pushed her sister down the mountain. When Soulgi heard this, she angrily threw balls at them. Seeing that, Wonji approached and whispered something into Soulji's ear that made her stunned. Meanwhile, Choi-kyung sneaked into the school's surveillance room. She intended to delete the video that the camera recorded 2 years ago. That night, Choi-kyung quietly went to class alone. She sat in her chair and started masturbating out of habit. At this moment, a light flashed by, startling her. Right after that, Choi-kyung intended to quietly leave, but she accidentally heard the conversation between teacher Do-hwaek and and Jaina. At that time, Jaina begged Do-hyuk to forget everything. Out of curiosity, Choi-kyung peeked through the door tray. Choi-kyung was stunned when she saw Jaina hugging teacher Do-hyuk. Then the two exchanged sweet kisses. Back to reality. Choi-kyung intended to delete the video, but before she could do so, Yeri suddenly appeared behind her. So Choi-kyung had to tell Yeri everything. At this time, Jae had a strange dream. Someone was trying to chase her in the dark night. Then suddenly an arm on the ground grabbed her leg. Jae was really scared. Then she reached for the stone in front of her eyes and hit the person behind her repeatedly. Only then did Jae realize it was Jaina. At this moment, Jae suddenly woke up and it was just a dream. Right after that, Jae called Soulji to come home to talk. Soulji followed this puppy and saw Jae in Jaina's room. Here, Jae told Soulji everything about Soulji's father, a respected teacher, slept with his student. Before that, Wonji whispered in Soulji's ear that Jae was holding her father's phone. Soulji asked Jae if she had seen what was inside the phone. Why did Jae find the password? Jae revealed that it was the date Soulji went missing. Now Jae had lost that phone. Jae thought Jaina had taken it. Soulji thought Jae was lying, so she searched everything to find it. Seeing that, Jae hugged Soulji. Then Jae mentioned a story her father told her when she was little. There was a brother who killed his younger brother out of jealousy. Jae always thought that her sister would kill her, but in her dream, she smashed her sister's head. Jae saw her sister die and felt strangely at ease. She really hoped that the police would catch her. That way, everyone would live. Soulji just said that she knew this wasn't Jae's fault. Jae also thought that Jenna was so cowardly that she couldn't hurt herself. Could it be that her father kidnapped Jenna? Before that, Soulji received information from Byungjin that Sojin had been selling drugs to Jaina for a long time. Soulji immediately called Sojin, but couldn't contact her. Soulji suddenly remembered that Sojin also had a big burn on her foot. The body that Soulji saw at the hospital and Jaina's body both had yellow toenail polish. They both had the same burn marks. Moreover, the face of the body was not intact, so they could not confirm that it was Jaina. Then Soulji looked at Sojin's personal page. Here Soulji saw Jaina taking pictures at a rehabilitation center. Soulji immediately went there. Soulji knocked on all the doors, but she did not see Sojin there. According to this girl, there was a girl with burns on the top of her feet who lived in this area before, but her condition improved, so she was released. It was said that she went back to her old dorm room to study for exams. At this time, Choi-kyung and Ye-ri went to the lab. According to Bomsu, Jenna had hidden something here. After a while of searching, Yeri saw Taejun's suspicious name tag. Yeri opened it, and inside there was a key with the address and room number 209. That night, Soulji went to Sojin's boarding house. Soulji asked the guy and found out that the girl was dead. For a month, he hadn't seen the girl pay the rent or go in or out of the room, so he opened the door to check but couldn't find her. She had no relatives, so he contacted the police. Soulji wanted to pay the rent for Sojin, but the guy said that a thug who said he was her brother came to pay. Then that person went to all the shops around to pay the debt for her. When Soulji was about to leave, Yeri and Choi-kyung were surprised. The three of them then went to room 209 with the key in hand. This was the boarding house where Jenna had been hiding all this time. The room was filled with math formulas and solutions. Soulji saw a diary on the table, but it was locked. Soulji immediately broke the lock, like what Jenna did in the teacher's room 2 years ago. Inside the diary, Jenna told in detail about Soulji's father's death. Attached was a flyer looking for a lost child. Jenna has always been haunted by her father. She's afraid that he will abandon her, and she thinks that the cause is all because of Jae. Jenna also feels scared when she looks into Jae's two black and cold eyes. Jae's face always seems to be mocking Jenna because she knows everything. This makes Jenna really haunted. The feeling of being an older sister but losing to her younger sister is terrible for Jenna. Jenna always wants to defeat Jae to win back her father's love. Then one day, Taejun discovers the relationship between Jenna and teacher Do-hyuk. Surprisingly, Taejun does not blame Jenna at all. On the contrary, he praised her. But behind that were dark plots. Taejun used that video to threaten Mr. Do-hyuk, forcing him to steal the upcoming university entrance exam for Jenna. Moreover, Taejun also learned that Mr. Do-hyuk had a missing daughter, so Taejun promised to help Do-hyuk find her daughter. Returning home, Do-hyuk did not want his wife to look for Soulji anymore. She did not understand the reason, but she still wanted to find her husband's stepdaughter. At that time she was angry and left the house, accidentally bumping into Jenna. She dropped the missing child flyer, so Jenna got it. The next day, Miss Jong was suddenly removed from the university entrance exam committee because she was accused of violating the confidentiality agreement. It was certain that Taejun was the one who intervened. Her replacement was none other than Mr. Do-hyuk. While Do-hyuk was on his way to the exam committee, he received a text message from Taejun Taejun. Taejun said he had found Do Hweek's missing daughter. Do Hweek was about to get out of the car, but was immediately stopped by the council. When he arrived, Taejun continued to send him the intimate video of Do Hweek with Jenna. Taejun also included a threat that Do Hweek's daughter probably wouldn't want to see this scene. At this point, Do Hweek could no longer back out. Do Hweek had accepted everything. While the exam committee was discussing, Do Hweek tried to remember the most difficult questions. Do Hweek then went to the bathroom to write them down on a small piece of paper and put it in a plastic bottle. Do Hweek then swallowed them all to fool everyone. When Do Hweek went outside, his teacher collapsed from the excruciating pain in his stomach. Do Hweek was immediately taken to Taejun's hospital. Here, Taejun had prepared everything according to the original plan. Taejun performed surgery to remove the exam paper from Do Hweek's stomach. What's more remarkable is that the assistant is Jaina. Back in reality, Jaina's funeral is about to take place. At this time, Jae leaves to go to the morgue. Seeing that, Soulji also follows Jae. Here, Soulji says that this body is not Jaina. Soulji says Jae also knows this. Does Jaina have a scar like this on her leg? This is Sojin, a sister of Soulgi's at the orphanage. After Sojin died, no one bothered to look for her body, so they took her to Jae's father's hospital. Moreover, Sojin lives right next to Jaina's room. Even though Jae knows that, she still pushes Sojin's body into the crematorium to replace Jaina. Jae thinks that if her father's plan is to make Jaina a dead person, then let him continue to commit many sins. If they ruin Jaina's funeral, her father will definitely come up with another plan. First, they had to keep the truth from her father. Soulji also revealed that she had read Jaina's diary. Jaina had written very specifically about Soulji's father's death, so Soulji needed to find evidence. Hearing this, Jae had to help Soulji do this. Jae disguised Soulji as a medical staff member and brought along her father's office access card. Immediately after, Jae went to the hospital's surveillance room to turn off the cameras recording Soulji. At the same time, the security guard came in and recognized Jae. She immediately made an excuse that her mother told her to turn off all the cameras so that the VIP guests wouldn't show their faces. She only turned the cameras back on after Jaina's funeral. After finishing, Jae returned to Jaina's funeral. At this time, Soulji broke into Taejun's office. Here, she saw a remote control. She pressed it and a transparent glass door appeared that could look down below. At this point, Soulji suddenly remembered what Jaina had written in the diary. The room below was where Jaina solved the questions taken from Do Hweek's stomach. Up here, Taejun was watching. At that moment, Jae suddenly walked in, so Jaina hid the questions. Jae offered to help Jaina solve the exercises, but Jaina was very angry and kept chasing Jae out. Seeing her father watching above, Jaina told herself that she absolutely must not cry, because her father would never give gifts to children like that. Immediately after, Soulji texted Jae asking if there was any gift that Jenna wanted to receive. Jae thought that Jenna was very much like her father, so she often cared about anniversaries, for example, Christmas or birthdays. On this shelf, there were many music CDs arranged by date. Soulji took one out to look at it. She was stunned when these music CDs had X-ray images of patients printed on them. She found one before the college entrance exam last year. That was also the day her father passed away. Soulji was shocked to see her father's X-ray inside. It still had the imprint of the plastic bottle containing the exam questions. Soulji played the CD to listen to. She was even more disgusted to see that inside was Jaina's favorite song, a sick thing that Taejun had created. He seemed to want to make fun of the body of the person he had murdered. At this moment, Soulji truly hated that man. Soulji immediately picked up a knife with the intention of stabbing this sick man, but before she could do it, her stepmother suddenly stopped her. Her stepmother already knew everything. Her stepmother felt strange when Jaina kept hanging around their house. Moreover, there were letters sent to her husband in a loving manner. After Do Hweek passed away, she received many letters full of hidden meanings. An anonymous person sent in the message that she didn't want to know how her husband died, or most recently, that person revealed that Jaina was already dead. Returning, the stepmother didn't want Soulji to act so hastily. Soulji's stepmother was also looking for evidence to accuse Taejun. When they went outside, Soulji's stepmother revealed to Soulji that Taejun's framing of her for stealing medicine was just to force her to compromise. But how could she compromise with him? At the same time, Soulji saw that Byungjin was also here. She immediately went to meet him to talk. She asked if he knew that the person inside was Sojin. She already knew that he paid for Sojin's room and debt. He admitted that he came here to see Sojin off. It would be good if Sojin was sent off in a hearse filled with flowers. Soulji should also think positively, but in fact, he came here to make a deal with Taejun because he knew everything behind it. Soon after, Soulji gave her father's X-ray to Choi Kyung's mother, who is a lawyer, but Choi Kyung's mother said that it still can't be used as evidence. Maybe Soulji thought that the thing in here was the college entrance exam, but her father didn't die when he was cut open to take it out. They would say that it was medical negligence for not clearly informing the family about the patient's condition. There's too little evidence to charge Taejun with murder. The operating room doesn't have security cameras, so Jenna has to come forward as a witness. Unfortunately, the last witness is no longer in this world. Soon after, Soulji's stepmother took out the letters sent by the mysterious person. She said that this person knew about Jenna and Do-hik's relationship from the beginning. This person could have been in the operating room or the exam area. Choi Kyung wanted to stand up and admit that she sent it all, but her mother immediately stopped her. Her mother thought that even if they found the sender, it would be difficult to convince them to testify in court. When she returned home, Choi Kyung knew that her mother did not care about these useless medical lawsuits, but her mother still tried to act like a good lawyer. The same was true for Choi Kyung. Her mother always acted like a good and responsible mother. Choi Kyung asked her mother if she was not curious about how she knew about teacher Do-hyuk and Jenna. Choi Kyung said that she went to school to masturbate that day. Choi Kyung felt that she would be less afraid if she masturbated in class before the exam. Then Choi Kyung accidentally saw teacher Do-hyuk and Jenna. Choi Kyung really wanted to talk about this with others, but she was afraid that people would ask why she was at school at that time. Choi Kyung just hoped that Jae would fail miserably. If it weren't for Jae, Choi Kyung would have gotten first place. When Choi Kyung met Jaena at the festival, she also told Jaena that she knew everything. If Jaena did not say anything, Choi Kyung would, but Jaena died at this time. Choi Kyung's mother thought that Jaena's death had nothing to do with her. The same goes for Mr. Do-hyuk's death. Choi Kyung absolutely will not have to go to court and absolutely must not say anything to anyone. At this time, Yeri made an appointment to meet Byung-jin. Yeri took out a USB containing a recording of Soulji's conversation from her pocket. The two were discussing how to use it to trade with Taejun to earn some money. Yeri gave it to Byung-jin so he could go meet Taejun. A moment later, Byung-jin and Taejun arrived at the meeting place. Byung-jin gave the USB to Taejun and asked him to keep his promise. In the distance, Soulji was secretly watching the two. Jae also suddenly appeared, so she pulled Soulji in for fear of being discovered. Soulji then revealed to Jae that what she said before was a lie. Soulji had called Jae earlier and said that she had found a torn section in Jaena's diary. Then Jaena had recorded a video in the operating room. They needed to find it before it fell into Jae's father's hands. At that time, Soulji knew that Yeri was eavesdropping behind the scenes, so she lied. Now that Taejun had fallen into the trap, Soulji wanted to take advantage of that weakness. At the same time, Soulji really wanted Jae to help her with this. The next day, the two went to Taejun's office. Soulji would act as if she was looking for the video that Jaena had recorded. Jae would stand there to film Soulji. Jae also placed cameras everywhere her father could go, from the hospital office to the car he drove. She was even more sophisticated when she secretly placed a camera on the dog's collar. Jae opened it to see the conversation between her parents. Here, Jae learned that Jenna was not dead yet and was being locked up somewhere by her father. She also learned that tomorrow her mother would come to visit Jaena. Immediately after that, Jae and Soulji went to meet Choi Kyung to borrow a car. Tomorrow, the two of them would follow Jae's mother to see where Jaena was. At the same time, Jae wanted Choi Kyung to tell her mother that tomorrow, Jaena could testify in court. Early the next morning, Jae and Soulji set out to follow Jae's mother. She went very far out of the city, making the two of them extremely nervous. At the same time, Taejun's trial was also taking place. Choi Kyung's mother said that on the day Do-hyuk died, there was a witness with Taejun in the operating room. They could not say anything in advance to ensure the witness's safety. After listening, the judge accepted the new witness and let the trial adjourn for a few minutes. Meanwhile, Taejun showed no signs of worry. At this time, Jae's mother suddenly came to an orphanage. At this point, the two realized that they had been tricked. Jaena could not be there. Soulji immediately informed her stepmother that she could not bring Jaena. Jae was extremely angry because she had been tricked. When the two returned, Taejun's trial had just ended. Because there were no witnesses, he was found innocent. Soulji then told her stepmother everything. Soul felt like Jae's mother was teasing her. Jae's mother took pictures with the orphans. Soulji's stepmother immediately said that she seemed to trust Jae a little too much. They seemed to have known about this plan of the two. Throughout the trial, Taejun did not show any anxiety. It was as if he knew they could never bring Jaena. However, Soulji still trusted Jae wholeheartedly. At this time, Taejun took Jae somewhere other than the way home. Then he showed her a video clip from when he had secretly placed a camera on Soulji's stepmother's car. She wondered why Jaena was in the operating room. Taejun just needed to give Jaena the exam exam paper. At that moment, the car they were driving suddenly lost control and crashed straight into a car parked on the side of the road. Luckily, they were not injured. Jae witnessed this scene through the camera and was very panicked. Of course, the person who wanted to assassinate Soulji and her stepmother was none other than Taejun. Taejun asked Jae if she wanted to know why Jae-na was in the operating room that day. Then Taejun took Jae to the place where Jae-na was being held, a house isolated in the deep forest. Here Jae was stunned when she saw Jae-na in this state. Jae-na was like a psychopath and she couldn't remember anyone. Jae took Jae-na out, but the doorbell kept ringing. This made Jae-na panic. Jae asked Taejun what he did to Jae-na, but he said he didn't do anything. Jae should ask Jae-na that question. Then he told Jae that the one who killed Do-hweik was Jae-na. In the operating room, Jae-na injected a drug that made Do-hweik stop breathing. Jae wanted to please her father, and she thought that doing so would make her father happy. Jae thought that her father was lying and she didn't believe that Jae-na would do that. He said that if there was really a camera in the operating room, he would love to show it to her. That way, he could prove his innocence. He was tired of what Jae-na had done. Jae-na was also tired, so he helped her erase a bit of her memory. Jae told him not to say that he had worked so hard for Jae-na. He just couldn't accept the fact that he had given birth to a failed child. Taejun angrily pinned Jae to the wall and said that he did all this for Jae. He didn't want Jae-na's dirty deeds to affect the efforts Jae had made all this time. Jae smiled contemptuously at those words. Then, Jae said that she was different from Jae-na. Jae would become a child that Taejun could be proud of. At this time, the repairman discovered that the tire was not worn out naturally. It seemed that someone had intentionally punctured the tire. Soulji's stepmother knew who did it, but she hid this from Soulji. She revealed that the tire had been left for too long and was deflated. She knew that the car was no longer safe, so she wanted to get rid of it. The next day, Soulji didn't see Jae come to school, so she asked the teacher. The teacher said that Jae was sick, so she couldn't go to school for the time being. Soulji felt something was wrong, so she called Jae, but Soulji couldn't contact Jae. Soulji went to the places they usually went to, but she couldn't find Jae. Soulji went to Jae's house and knocked on the door, but no one answered. Soulji then went to the hospital to find Jae, but was stopped by the medical staff. Choi Kyung opened the door and Soulji saw Jae studying in a group, but everyone acted cold and ignored her. A moment later, Soulji saw Jae coming down, so she happily ran over, but Jae told Soulji not to come near her. Jae seemed to have turned into a different person. Meanwhile, Soulji kept asking questions when she heard that Jae was sick. Jae said, "How did Soulji get first place with that stupid head?" Soulji still didn't understand why Jae was so close to her. Jae knew everything about Jae-na from the beginning. The math problem that Gi-nae solved the day before appeared on the college entrance exam. When Jae saw Soulji's name in Jae-na's file, she was even more certain that Mr. Do-hweik had secretly given Jae-na the exam. Soulji's transfer was the price of this incident. Jae asked Soulji if she knew how happy she was when her father saw Soulji as a thorn in his side. Then he tried to torture Soulji. Jae asked Soulji if she really thought Jae was on her side. Soulji thought about it. From selling drugs to stealing Mr. Do-hweik's phone, it was all Jae's doing, not her father. Sometimes there were dangerous moments that made Jae afraid that Soulji would find out. Fortunately, Soulji was so easy to fool. But anyway, Jae was thankful because thanks to Soulji, she felt very happy. Soulji's family will never be able to win against Jae's family, so Soulji should never look for Jae-na again. Soulji was truly stunned by what Jae said, but Soulji didn't know that those were lies. Jae did that to discourage Soulji and stop, because if they continued to confront Jae's father, Soulji would definitely be in danger. Many days passed and Soulji had to study for the final exam. At this time, her medicine was gone, so she couldn't concentrate. Soulji chose not to take the medicine anymore. She had to face the reality of her true abilities. Her ambition to get into medical school also began to narrow. That day, the final exam also took place. Soulji was soaked with pressure. The consequences of not taking the medicine made her have a lot of difficulty with the questions. The results of this exam had too many surprises. Soulji dropped to 20th place. Jae dropped to 5th place. Surprisingly, Choi Kyung took the lead. While Taejun was burning Jae-nae's CD and diary, Jae showed him the rankings of her recent exam. She apologized for not being able to get first place, but now he didn't care anymore. Right after that, Jae suddenly asked her father to turn her into Jae-na. She wanted her father to get her the extremely difficult questions of the university entrance exam. When Soulji returned home, she saw that her stepmother had bought a new car. She felt suspicious because her stepmother had given up suing Taejun. Soulji angrily went into the examination room and couldn't find the insurance contract anywhere. She thought that her stepmother had compromised with Taejun. Soulji's stepmother said that she was too tired and didn't want to disappoint Soulji's father anymore. But Soulji always thought that from the beginning she did everything just for money. Choi-kyung was extremely excited about the first place this time. She finally defeated Jae after many years of being overshadowed. Soon after, her mother invited Choi-kyung to the temple to pray for her good luck in the upcoming college entrance exam. However, Choi-kyung was not so superstitious because there was a reason behind that great result. That night, Ye-ri met Byung-jin to buy medicine. Here, she told him about the ranking of the recent exam. Byung-jin was not too surprised when he learned that Choi-kyung rose to the top position because all this time, she secretly bought medicine from him. At this time, Soulji took a stone and went to Jaina's memorial. She suddenly broke the glass cabinet to take out the ashes. Immediately, the security guard discovered and arrested her. A moment later, Taejun was there. Soulji challenged Taejun to sue her. He did not want to get into more trouble, so he made an offer. Taejun promised to help Soulji get the difficult questions of the college entrance exam. He wanted to borrow Soulji's hand to help Jae achieve this. That night, Soulji went to see Jae after many days of Jae avoiding her. Here, Soulji revealed that Jae's father said he would give her a very difficult question. Jae wanted Soulji to cancel that offer, but Soulji wanted to know the reason. Jae did not say anything. This made Soulji really angry. Soulji suddenly climbed up the bridge and jumped down. Even though she did not know how to swim, Soulji still jumped down. Jae was very panicked. Jae immediately went down to save Soulji. After they got to shore, Jae gave Soulji first aid and she woke up again. Soulji smiled when she knew she was still important to Jae. Soulji also knew that Jae deliberately messed up the final exam and asked her father a very difficult question because that way, Jae could get revenge on his father. Jae said that Soulji knew that, so why did she still want to receive a difficult question? Soulji couldn't stand by and watch as Jae tried to ruin her life just because she wanted to catch Taejun. Soulji told Jae to keep looking down on her like before. Jae would just use Soulji to get the extremely difficult questions. Only this way would she get the questions and evidence to accuse him. When Jae returned home, she asked her father if he was really going to give Soulji the difficult questions. He didn't hesitate to reveal that he wanted to let Soulji be Jae's foil. Taejun was sure that Soulji would easily accept the offer because everyone wanted to go to college to have a chance to change their life. Jae wanted her father to come up with a specific plan and collect all the evidence. If the exam stealing was exposed, Soulji would be the only one to be blamed. The next day, Soulji went to see Taejun because she had accepted the offer. He gave her the file he had investigated about a teacher in the school who held a seat on the college entrance exam committee. It was evidence that he had received bribes. This would be a test of her sincerity in this cooperation. Soulji immediately went to meet the teacher and showed him the file. At the same time, Taejun's men were secretly taking pictures of the two of them. The teacher was stunned when he saw what was inside. He immediately asked Soulji what she really wanted. That day, Choi-kyung had an interview with the university she wanted to enter. At this time, Choi-kyung was extremely nervous and excited, so she had to go to the bathroom to relieve herself. Choi-kyung's moans were so loud that people outside heard them and burst out laughing. After Choi-kyung finished, she hurried to the room. Her clothes were messy, which surprised the supervisor. The next day, Soulji distributed university application forms to her classmates. At that time, Jae was out, so Soulji went down to deliver it to the table. Here, Soulji was surprised when she saw Jae's note that there were 92 days left, while the university entrance exam was only 70 days away. This really made her wonder. Meanwhile, Choi-kyung received the results of her interview and she failed. She didn't understand why she couldn't pass when she masturbated and took medicine at the same time. Choi-kyung wondered if Byung-jin's medicine was fake. At this time, Ye-ri received a message from someone ordering medicine. Because she was too curious, Ye-ri secretly checked to see who it was. A moment later, when Choi-kyung came to get it, she was caught by Ye-ri. Ye-ri took the medicine, making Choi-kyung extremely angry. Choi-kyung immediately cursed her straight to the face, calling her a bar girl. Recently, a photo of Ye-ri taken at the bar was also spreading on social media. Ye-ri angrily asked Choi-kyung if she was the one who posted it. Choi-kyung said that she did not live by revealing other people's secrets like Ye-ri. Ye-ri advised Choi-kyung to stop thinking about winning against Jae. If Choi-kyung wanted to study secretly in peace, she should keep quiet. At the same time, Soulji was also present and she wanted to know what secret the two were talking about. However, no one revealed anything. When returning to class, Soulji saw a lot of dog hair on Choi-kyung's legs. Out of curiosity, Soulji went to Choi-kyung's house that night. There, Soulji was surprised to see Jae's dog at Choi-kyung's house. When Soulji asked, Choi-kyung revealed that Jae promised to teach her and tell her the secret, on the condition that Choi-kyung adopt Jae's Jae's dog. After Soulji sorted out Jae's strange things recently, she felt something unusual. Soulji immediately ran to the swimming pool where Jae often went. Here Soulji saw Jae standing on the bridge and was about to jump down. Soulji thought Jae would do something stupid, but Jae slowly walked down before. Soulji sighed in relief, because Jae knew her father was always watching her. She didn't say anything to Soulji. Jae wrote on the mirror to move on to plan B. Before that, Jae sensed that her father was planning something else. It wasn't as simple as the theft to get the exam last year. In addition to the bribed teacher, he also sent a medical staff along. After Jae learned that plan A was unlikely to succeed, she told Soulji to back out. Jae wanted to do the rest herself. The reason Jae sent the dog to Choi Kyung was because she knew her father had placed a surveillance camera on its collar. The note of 92 days was the day the results of this plan would come out. Based on her strength, Jae wouldn't need that difficult question to easily pass the university entrance exam. However, those questions were the key for her to accuse her father. Jae also revealed that the medicine she gave Soulji before was just vitamins. Soulji heard this, and she immediately smiled happily. That day, Soulji unexpectedly made an appointment to meet Byung-jin. She knew that he was the one who punctured her stepmother's tire. He also admitted to doing it because Taejun promised to pay him a large sum of money. Here, Soulji proposed a business deal that would help Byung-jin earn a huge amount of money, which was to sell college entrance exam questions to rich parents. That same night, Byung-jin contacted them. With just a deposit, he brought home a sack of money. The day before the college entrance exam, the teacher who was bribed Taejun had a set of questions in his hand. While playing soccer, he pretended to be injured and was taken to the medical room of the council. After going inside, he immediately gave the set of questions to the medical staff. She was the one that Taejun planted. Based on Taejun's orders, she changed her plan without the teacher knowing. She created a real wound on the teacher's leg. She told the council to call the hospital to bring painkillers. A moment later, Taejun brought the painkillers to the council. The medical staff immediately put the stolen question paper in his pocket. On the way back, Taejun told the driver to drive faster. Surprisingly, the people sitting in the car were Byung-jin and Soulji. Two had stolen the car before. After they took Taejun to a deserted area, Byung-jin forced him to get out of the car. At the same time, Jae suddenly appeared. Byung-jin immediately told Soulji to take the test paper out of Taejun's pocket. At this time, Jae kept telling Soulji to give her the test paper. After thinking for a while, Soulji suddenly swallowed it all. Jae slowly approached, apologized, and drugged Soulji. Soulji was taken to Taejun's hospital. However, he didn't want to perform surgery to remove it. At this point, Jae had to perform surgery herself to get the test paper. A moment later, she successfully removed it. Before Jae could finish reading, Byung-jin snatched it away. Because outside, there were many parents waiting to get the question paper for their children. Choi Kyung and Wonji were also present. Inside, Taejun gave Jae the real test paper. The one Byung-jin had just taken away was a fake. He knew everything in advance, so he had prepared to this extent. The next day, the university entrance exam took place. Wonji and Choi Kyung were surprised because the question paper they bought was completely different from the test paper. Meanwhile, Jae didn't need the question paper to do well on the test. At this time, Soulji had woken up in the hospital. At this time, the college entrance exam was over, and she missed it. 3 weeks passed, and the results of the college entrance exam were out. It was no surprise that Jae got full marks in all subjects. There were many reporters present to prepare to interview her. At that moment, Soulji absent-mindedly walked into the classroom. Then she took her school bag and left, surprising everyone. That night, Jae went to the secret house where Jaena was being held. Jae told Jaena that she was going to go to kindergarten. Jae washed Jaena's face like what Jaena did to her when she was little. Jae suddenly put on a life jacket and a woolen hat for Jaena. Immediately after that, the two of them walked out onto the balcony. Jae set up a camera to broadcast this scene live. Jae hugged Jaena and jumped into the deep river. At the same time, Taejun was having an interview at the TV station. Everyone there was stunned when they saw Jae's video. The news of Jae jumping into the river was also reported live on TV. The rescue team immediately went to search for the victim all night. When the sky turned bright, the rescue team found one person, but it was only Jaena. Jae was still missing. Soulji stood on the shore. She couldn't help but worry about her best friend. Soulji cried until her tears ran dry and kept calling Jae's name in vain. Soulji really regretted not knowing about Jae's private plan sooner. Before that, Jae had secretly installed a camera in the operating room. Everything was recorded, and Taejun was suspected of stealing the university entrance exam questions for the past 2 years. Moreover, Taejun was also suspected of killing teacher Do-hui. Taejun was immediately arrested by the police police to serve the investigation. The reporter asked many questions, but he only said one sentence: "Dad will look for you until I find your body." 6 months have passed, but reporters and journalists still come to Soulji's house to interview her. However, she just stays at home and doesn't show up. Meanwhile, the police have found Jae's body, but Tae-jun doesn't think that's his daughter. Now Yeri has changed to an honest job. She's working part-time at a restaurant and is thinking about what to do next. Choi-kyung found the right major for her, so she went to law school. She's too focused on her studies, so she doesn't want to date any guy yet. Tae-jun was released after the police didn't have enough evidence to charge him. Every day, Tae-jun stands in front of Soulji's house, rain or shine. Tae-jun really wants to see Soulji and wants to know if Jae is still alive. Another 6 months have passed. Soulji is still studying hard for the upcoming college entrance exam. At the same time, Soulji can't stop thinking about her friend Jae. The day before the college entrance exam, Soulji heard the doorbell ring. She ran out to see and saw a gift box there. Inside were a new pair of shoes and a keychain that Soulji gave to Jae. In addition, there was a picture of a distant sea. Soulji smiled when she saw these things. Soulji knew that Jae was still alive. Jae was in that sea waiting for Soulji to come to her. The drama ended here. Thank you for watching. Goodbye and see you again.